Poverty. Money is not everything. Presented by Jia, Devin, and Nicholas. So, how do we define poverty? Poverty is the state of a person being deprived of opportunities and necessities considered fundamental for human life and dignity. According to Amartya Sen, a professor of economics and philosophy, opportunities, or capabilities, are the beings and doings a human can achieve. Martha Nussbaum, a professor of philosophy, elaborates on 10 central capabilities: sense, imagination, and thought, control over one's environment, practical reasoning, life, bodily health, bodily integrity, emotions, other species, affiliation, and play. Someone in poverty is lacking at least one of the central capabilities. So let's look at an example. Let's imagine that it's recess time for middle schoolers because, as we all know, middle schoolers definitely have recess time, right? Every student runs out to the yard as excited and happy as can be and split up into their own groups. Each student has no best friend, another has one best friend, and yet another has four. According to Martha Nussbaum, none of these students may lack the central capability, affiliation, so long as they are content with their number of friends. However, if one student feels the need for more friends, then they are lacking those relationships, affiliation, that they need to achieve human dignity and well being. In addition to the real opportunities one has, the current state of a person and what that individual has accomplished are essential factors to consider. The way to measure this is through the Multidimensional Poverty Index, also known as the MPI. The MPI takes health, education, and living standards into account, which involve basic necessities such as food, clothing, shelter, and utilities. Some scholars may argue that a combination between MPI and capabilities may be complicated. The capabilities approach has no defined methodology. Thus, it is reasonable to assume that our measuring technique has too many factors. However, poverty is not black and white. When measuring poverty, we find that combining the capabilities approach and the MPI provides the best portrait because it recognizes that money is not the only indicator of poverty. Money is just a tool for individuals to purchase goods and services to satisfy their basic needs. For instance, Tim might satisfy all his basic necessities by working two jobs and 84 hours a week. John also satisfies his necessities but only works one job for 42 hours a week, earning the exact same amount that Tim earns from his two jobs. The capabilities approach would characterize Tim as deprived of the play or recreation capability because he has only time for work, which takes up over 12 hours a day, in addition to eating and sleeping. As a result, Tim is impoverished because he does not have any opportunity to experience a core part of what makes life worth living. On the other hand, John would not be considered deprived of the capability play because he is able to enjoy recreational activities and create bonds of fellowship with his community. Contrarily, the MPI alone would not consider Tim to be impoverished because it cannot account for his lack of human dignity by missing out on affiliation and being stuck in a state of survival. Therefore, an approach that can accommodate a more comprehensive view of an individual's well being and account for differences between people is a better reflection of reality. One might argue that the recreation capability is a trivial aspect of life because people can survive without it. However, the opportunity for play involves time for rest, which leads to rejuvenation because constant work creates diminishing marginal returns. Rest can result in higher productivity and happiness. If a person has no free time, they are simply operating as an instrument for labor and production of goods. This is a violation of human dignity, as play is a central capability. Often people might wonder how to measure play. One way to do this would be to take a random sample, more specifically, a simple random sample of all the individuals in a given area seeking to find how many hours of free time one has in addition to a country's labor laws. Individuals who face fewer hours of free time or laws implementing a more extended work week would be considered deprived of the play capability. In addition, bodily health is a central capability. When measuring it, we could use data from the UHC Health Coverage Index, compiled by the World Health Organization, which considers universal healthcare coverage and essential healthcare services such as vaccinations, affordable medicine, and annual checkups. An individual who lives in a country that scores low on the UHC index, for instance, Chad scores 29.4 out of 100 as of 2021, would be considered deprived of the bodily health capability. According to the MPI, 19.1% of Chad's MPI score was due to the population suffering from health or bodily health deprivation. Furthermore, affiliation is the ability to form connections between people. Being socially isolated prevents one from feeling a sense of dignity and respect from their fellow human beings. The MPI's measurement of education and shelter gauges the opportunity one has to form connections. A school building has many opportunities for friendships. The number of people in a household shows onlookers the present opportunities for affiliation. In conclusion, the multidimensional poverty index and the capabilities approach are great partners for measuring and addressing poverty in ways that respect dignity. However, two scholars disagree with our definition of poverty. Rector and Sheffield, research fellows for the Heritage Foundation, wrote an article about their views on the current state of poverty in America. They stated that families with amenities like air conditioning, refrigerators, cell phones, and other everyday goods are not impoverished. They also argued that assistance from the government should be counted as income, and the people it is going to will not be impoverished anymore because of the resources they are receiving. Quote, those who are without food or homeless will find no comfort in the fact that their condition is relatively infrequent. Their distress is real and a serious concern, end quote. We disagree with the idea that one has to be homeless or starving to be considered impoverished because it lacks the basic understanding of the poor living situations a person could be in, even if their essential needs are satisfied. For instance, a household living below the poverty line might be able to rent an apartment with basic amenities such as a refrigerator, oven, stove, microwave, and dishwasher, all while struggling to purchase nutritious food. If two families have the exact same apartment with the same amenities, but one has reliable access to food, healthcare, transportation, education, work, etc., and the other does not, they're obviously not living the same comfortable lives. According to Rector, the lack of reliability when it comes to obtaining food is not a real or serious concern. At the beginning of our project, we gave ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence website, prompts about poverty to get a clear answer to AI stance on poverty. The specific questions were, quote, how should we define and measure poverty? What do you think poverty is? What is the best measurement of poverty? And please come up with your measurement of poverty, end quote. AI responded to each prompt with nearly the same answer every time. It talked about different definitions, measurements, perspectives, challenges, etc. AI's input was confusing and indirect. As a result, it is better for one to do their own research based on credible sources because they will obtain a clearer understanding of the information. Thank you for watching. We hope that you've learned a lot about this issue.